Hey guys, so for today's video, I am doing episode 20 of my Create This Book series. You could also consider this part 2 of episode 19 because I did say that because of all the pages I've done, I am going to be doing 2 episodes back to back. In this episode, I am going to show 4 pages. So stay tuned, and without further ado, let's jump into the first prompt. The first prompt says, create a pocket. Apply glue inside the dotted lines on page 57. Be careful not to glue the top. Close the book and allow the glue to dry. Store something in the pocket that is created between the 2 pages. If I'm being honest, I really didn't know how exactly to do this page. I didn't get what she meant by sticking the 2 pages together and creating a pocket out of that. Because there was a page behind this and you were supposed to glue them together somehow. Instead, I just cut out this pocket shape and stuck it on to the other page. Afterwards, I settled on coloring in the pocket with a dark bluish denim color. Then I thought about how I could tie the pocket with the rest of the page and what I could draw for that. Only drawing a pair of jeans would have looked pretty boring. So I also drew a denim jacket and a denim hat. I quickly outlined everything, and for the denim pieces as well as the pocket, I added these lines to replicate the stitches. I tried to add little details to make everything look more realistic. Like the pockets on the jacket or the sleeves, I made them baggy. For the jeans, I added these squares just to add a bit more pattern. As you will see, I also painted the squares in different shades of denim. I feel like it made it more interesting, and I've also seen this style before in real life. For the painting, I used watercolor and gouache. So for the background, I did blue gouache because it went a lot quicker. With watercolor, you have to dip your paintbrush in the water really often, so that makes the entire process a lot longer. And if you want to make a darker shade, then you have to put a lot of watercolor, means a lot of dipping. Gouache is a lot more opaque, but a similar consistency to watercolor, which is great when you have to paint darker and larger spaces. So leave a thumbs up if you like the editing of my recent Create This Book episodes. I finally decided to switch up my editing app from iMovie to CapCut. I will say iMovie is really good if you're just starting out. There are a lot of features that I wish they had, like speeding up videos to faster than 2 times speed, or adding cute fonts, or filters like the glitch filter. These are all things that iMovie just didn't have. You can now see me painting the gouache background. I find it so crazy that I've been doing this Create This Book for the past 4 years, because the Create This Book 2, so the first one I did, it took me only 4 months. I know that was also because of lockdown, and I wouldn't spend as much time making my pages as detailed as now. I added the last details like re-outlining the parts that got covered up with the paint, and also adding a white border around the pieces of clothing with a white colored pencil to make them stand out more. Here is the end result of this page. Overall, I really like how this turned out. I was scared that the gouache background was going to look too dark, but the color looks just perfect, and the white outline also really helped make the things pop. I also had to rewrite the prompt on this page. Adding the word denim helped fill up the rest of the empty space. Yeah, I'm happy with this, and I think it was a creative outlook. The next prompt is called Create Art with Wax. Decorate this page using only wax, candle wax, crayons, etc. So it took me a while to even get to this prompt because I did not have crayons laying around. But we were on a road trip, and on one of the stops there were crayons there, and so I got these children crayons. They were such bad quality though, I would add a bit of pressure onto the crayon and it would break. The colors weren't pigmented at all either. I guess there's not much to expect from random cheap crayons, but maybe just a bit better quality would have been amazing. Because of this, I had to use half broken crayons a lot of the time, and that made it really hard to draw with. This is why I had to then go on top with a black pen to outline the shapes. To add a bit more pigment and color, I also went in with colored pencil to just do a bit more shading. Surprisingly, this prompt did get boring at times because it was super repetitive and I was just drawing the same types of seashells over and over again, trying to fill up the page somehow. But it was only for this prompt, honestly, otherwise I would have never used these crayons. That was everything for this prompt. Here is the final result. I like this page. It's not the craziest ever, but I like the simplicity of the design. I'm happy to have drawn some seashells in this book. I did go in with a dark bluish background to make it look more complete. That's about it. Let's move on to the next prompt. The next prompt is called Create Instructions. Write up detailed instructions for a very simple everyday task. Include diagrams if necessary. So the task I decided to write instructions on was making sushi. Now, I know that's not a simple everyday task like the prompt says, but the idea of doing sushi really intrigued me in that current moment, and I felt like it was just going to be a lot more interesting than just doing an everyday task. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Mariah has said in one of her past videos that these prompts are just there to get your ideas flowing and you do not need to follow them exactly if you don't feel the need to. Moving on, let's get back to the drawing. On the side I'm currently doing, I wrote the ingredients needed and then I drew all of them. For example, there was avocado needed, so I drew avocado, and there was also salmon needed, so I drew a piece of salmon. Originally, I had drawn all of this onto a separate piece of paper that I was thinking of sticking on. Due to the fact that I think my Create This book is getting way too thick due to the extra pages I've stuck in, I want to minimize doing that when I can. Like, if the page is already double-sided, I do not want to stick another piece of paper onto that, because I have a fear that at some point it's going to be too much for the spine to handle and the pages are just gonna get loose and possibly even fall out. Moving on to the painting, I decided to keep a very fun color scheme with lots of neons and bright colors. Right now you can just see me color in the ingredients, but on the other side I do like magentas, greens, oranges for the background. And then I draw the entire process of the sushi with the mat, like the special bamboo mat. Basically a diagram for each main step. Sadly, I forgot to film the other page, but you will see that soon in the end result. And here it is. You know, when I first finished this page, I didn't actually really like how it looked. Especially the page with the instructions on it. I feel like the way the seaweed looks and the first step with the sticky rice, they looked kind of messy. So I tried to make everything look more neat. I rewrote the steps onto an additional piece of paper and then I cut them out and stuck it on to the page again. I also added some cut up bits of the pink sticky notes as well as different colored backgrounds. I think that really helped. This page still isn't my favorite, but the idea is pretty good. And the colors and the theme are really fun. Honestly, not much to complain about. We're moving on to the last final prompt of this video. It's called Create Embarrassment. Capture embarrassment on this page. What better opportunity was there than to do Embarrassment from Inside Out 2? Seriously guys, I was stumped on what to do for this page. Coming up with an embarrassing situation and then having to draw it was just way too much work. And embarrassment was really the only thing popping up in my mind. So I stuck to it and drew him. I've actually drawn Inside Out 2 characters already for the prompt from last episode. If you haven't seen that video yet, go check it out. I painted in the background in this pinkish magenta. Because I really only had the character Embarrassment to draw on the one page, I had to get creative with how to fill up the rest of the spread. I wrote the word embarrassment with fun letters arrayed vertically. For the other page, I did this scrapbook collage with different pink papers I printed out. Oh my god, that rhymes. Pink papers I printed out. That's it for this page. Here is the final result. I like this page. It's a simple idea, yet I managed to make it look aesthetic. I wasn't sure how the scrapbooking was going to turn out, but I'm really happy with it. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and liked the artwork I made in it. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. These videos take a lot of effort, not just to do the art but also to edit, so I really appreciate you guys subscribing. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!